On September 22nd, 2020, around 1:30 in the morning, the silence of the small town of Laredo, Texas, was shattered by the sirens of police cars and ambulances. They were heading to a house on Canyon Oak Drive, where a tragedy was unfolding that would forever change the life of one family and shake the entire local community. The story of Maria Muñoz and Joel Payot began in the early 2000s in Puerto Rico. Maria, a young and ambitious nursing student, met Joel, who was 11 years her senior and also studying in the medical field. Despite the age difference, there was instant chemistry between them. They were united by a shared passion for medicine and a desire to help people. Maria was known among friends for her sincerity, kindness, and dedication to family. After her mother's death, she took on the responsibility of caring for her younger siblings, demonstrating her nurturing nature. Joel, for his part, gave the impression of an ambitious and determined man who sought to achieve success in his career. Their relationship developed quickly, and by 2011, the couple married, uniting their lives and dreams for the future. For Maria, this was a step into a new life, full of hopes for a happy family and a successful career alongside her beloved husband. A few years after their marriage, Maria and Joel's lives underwent radical changes. Joel received an attractive job offer in Laredo, Texas, as a certified registered nurse anesthetist, CRNA. This opportunity promised a significant salary increase and career growth. The decision to move was not easy for the couple, especially for Maria. She had to leave her family, friends, and career in Puerto Rico. However, supporting her husband's dreams, Maria agreed to this step. Laredo, a city with a population of about 260,000 residents, became their new home. It offered a favorable environment for a young family, numerous parks, lakes, and good schools. However, like any city, it had its problems, including a higher-than-average rate of property crime. Adapting to the new life proved challenging for Maria. She temporarily put her nursing career on hold, focusing on setting up their new home and supporting Joel in his work. Despite the difficulties, Maria remained optimistic, hoping that this new chapter would bring happiness and prosperity to their family. Soon after moving to Texas, the Payot family welcomed their firstborn, a son named Alejandro. The birth of the child brought new light into the couple's life. Maria fully devoted herself to the role of mother, finding joy in the daily care of her son. Joel, meanwhile, was achieving success in his career. His work as a CRNA not only provided financial security for the family, but also allowed Maria to stay at home with the child. It seemed that life was perfect for the young family. In 2018, their second son, Valentino, was born. Maria was happy to be the mother of 2 boys. She spent a lot of time playing with the children, taking them for walks in the park, and reading to them before bedtime. The walls of their house were decorated with children's drawings, and toys were scattered throughout all the rooms, creating an atmosphere of a warm family nest. Maria planned to return to work when the children started school. She began preparing for the exams necessary to renew her nursing license in Texas, aspiring to combine motherhood with professional fulfillment. Around 2018, shortly after Valentino's birth, friends and colleagues began to notice changes in Joel's behavior and appearance. He quickly lost weight and then started to gain muscle mass, raising suspicions about possible steroid use. The changes were not limited to physical appearance. Joel became more self-confident, often boasting about his high earnings and expensive purchases. He bought a sports car for himself and a new car for Maria, constantly emphasizing his financial success. Joel's social media also underwent changes. Previously filled with family photos, his profiles now abounded with selfies showcasing his new physical form. Photos of Maria and the children gradually disappeared from his pages. During this period, Joel met Janet Arredondo, a surgical nurse at the hospital where he worked. Their communication quickly developed into something more, although initially it was not noticeable to others. Maria, busy caring for young children, initially did not notice these changes. However, she gradually began to feel that something was wrong in their relationship. Joel became more distant, often staying late at work and spending less time with the family. Maria's suspicions about her husband's infidelity were confirmed when she accidentally found plane tickets for Joel's trip to Europe. The tickets were in the names of Joel and Janet, which was a painful discovery for Maria about the reality of their marriage. According to friends' testimonies, Joel took Janet on a luxurious trip across Europe, visiting Spain, France, and Greece. This trip took place while Maria remained at home with young children, including newborn Valentino. The revelation of the affair became a turning point in Maria's life. She faced the reality that her husband was leading a double life, maintaining a relationship with another woman for an extended period. This discovery inflicted deep emotional trauma on Maria, shaking her faith in the strength of their marriage and shared future. After the revelation of Joel's infidelity, Maria found herself in a complex emotional situation. Despite the pain and disappointment, she decided to fight for her marriage, guided by love for her children and hope for relationship restoration. Joel, realizing that his double life had been exposed, tried to make amends. He organized a luxurious trip for Maria to Las Vegas, accompanying it with expensive gifts, including Louis Vuitton bags. This trip briefly created an illusion of reconciliation and the possibility of a new beginning for the couple. However, despite outward signs of repentance, Joel did not end his relationship with Janet. He continued to lead a double life, balancing between family and mistress. This situation led to the onset of deep depression in Maria. Maria began taking antidepressants, trying to cope with emotional pain. She also turned to religion, seeking solace in prayers and church attendance. During this period, Maria started keeping a diary where she candidly wrote about her feelings and experiences. The last months of Maria's life were filled with internal struggle and emotional suffering. Her diaries, later found by investigators, reveal the depth of her experiences and hopes for the future. In one entry, Maria wrote, "My fears are losing family, losing my husband, harming the children, making the wrong choice." These lines testify to her constant anxiety and desire to preserve the family, despite difficult circumstances. Despite depression, Maria did not lose hope for a better future. She wrote about the desire to be a good mother, present and involved in her children's lives. Her diaries were filled with prayers and appeals to God for help and guidance. During this period, Maria also began planning her professional future. She was preparing for exams to renew her nursing license in Texas, hoping to return to work when the children started school. These plans indicated her desire to move forward, despite difficulties in her personal life. On the night of September 22, 2020, Maria Muñoz's life tragically ended. The events of this night became the central point of subsequent investigation and trial. A few days before this date, on Saturday, a conflict occurred between Maria and Joel. Maria, driving past Janet's house, noticed her husband's car there. She stopped and approached the door, demanding Joel make a final choice between her and Janet. According to testimonies, Joel chose Janet, but still left with Maria. During this confrontation, Joel, according to witnesses, hit the windshield of the car, breaking it. On Monday evening, Joel and Maria agreed to meet for a serious conversation. Maria sent a message to a friend asking her to pray for her before this important talk. This was the last message Maria sent to her friends. Around 1:30 in the morning on September 22nd, Joel Peyote called 911. The recording of this call became important evidence in the case. "Mary Neal, what's the emergency address?" "Come on. I'll call my wife. I'll call my parents. She's not breathing. I have to take him to the pills." "Okay, what's your address?" Joel informed the operator that his wife wasn't breathing and that he thought she might have taken some pills. He tried to perform CPR as instructed by the operator, but unsuccessfully. The first police officer arrived at the scene a few minutes after the call. His body camera recorded key moments of the initial investigation. When the officer entered the house, he saw Joel in surgical attire performing CPR on Maria. The children, Alejandro and Valentino, were still asleep in their rooms, unaware of the tragedy unfolding. The officer noticed several suspicious details. Joel was excessively sweaty, which seemed odd given the light clothing and cool temperature in the house. Moreover, when the officer asked about the medications Maria might have taken, Joel brought a bottle of clonazepam that was prescribed in his name, not Maria's. While providing assistance to Maria, the officer set aside the medication bottle but later noticed it had disappeared. Upon reviewing the body camera footage, it became obvious that Joel had discreetly taken the bottle and hidden it in his pocket, raising additional suspicions. After the arrival of additional police units and paramedics, Joel was sent downstairs to allow the rescuers to work. Unfortunately, despite all efforts, Maria was pronounced dead at 3:58 in the morning. Detectives began the investigation, with the first step being Joel's interrogation. His behavior during the interrogation raised additional suspicions. He was excessively sweaty, nervous, and gave confused answers. When left alone in the interrogation room, he screamed, cried, and hit the walls, which was captured on camera. Joel said that he and Maria had been intimate, after which he went to shower. Upon returning, he found her unconscious. However, detectives noticed that the bathroom was completely dry, with no signs of recent use. Parallel to Joel's interrogation, the police conducted a search of the house. They found an intravenous needle on the stairs, as well as medical equipment for IVs and other syringes in a medical bag. These findings seemed strange, considering that Maria did not require such medications. An important piece of evidence was Maria's diary, found during the search. In it, she detailed her emotions, fears, and hopes. The entries testified to her deep love for her children and desire to preserve the family, despite difficulties in her relationship with Joel. A key moment in the investigation came when the toxicology report arrived 4 months after Maria's death. The results were shocking and completely refuted the version of clonazepam overdose that Joel initially put forward. 7 different drugs were found in Maria's blood: morphine, Demerol, Versed, propofol, ketamine, lidocaine, and Narcan. Importantly, clonazepam, which Maria allegedly took, was not detected in her system. Particular attention was drawn to the high level of propofol, a powerful anesthetic typically used in surgery. According to experts, the concentration of propofol in Maria's blood was one of the highest ever recorded, sufficient for conducting several serious operations. Most of the detected drugs are administered intravenously, which was consistent with the small injection mark found on Maria's arm during the autopsy. This detail became key in forming the version of intentional murder. The results of the toxicology report forced investigators to revise their strategy. They again turned to Janet Arredondo, Joel's mistress, for additional questioning. This time, faced with new evidence, Janet agreed to an immunity deal in exchange for testifying against Joel. Janet revealed that Joel regularly brought medical drugs from the hospital to her home, including propofol, morphine, and other narcotic substances. She confessed that they sometimes used these drugs together for recreational purposes. Moreover, Janet reported that the day after her first interrogation, Joel asked her to delete the surveillance camera recordings from her house for September 21st and 22nd. Joel's colleagues also provided important information. One of them, Luis, testified that Joel complained about a difficult situation in his marriage and expressed reluctance to divorce due to potential financial losses associated with alimony. When Luis directly asked Joel if he had killed Maria, he responded evasively, "I can't talk about that." Analysis of Maria's diaries revealed that a few days before her death, she was seriously considering the possibility of divorce. In one of her last entries, she wrote about wanting to move forward and start a new life. Based on the accumulated evidence, in January 2021, Joel Payot was arrested on charges of murdering Maria and tampering with evidence. His bail was set at $200,000. Joel's arrest came as a shock to many, especially Maria's family. Her sister, Marisol, until this moment believed that Maria might have committed suicide due to marital problems. She couldn't believe that Joel could be involved in her sister's death. After the arrest, Joel was released on bail and awaited trial, wearing an electronic tracking bracelet. This period lasted almost 2 years, during which the prosecution prepared the case against him. On March 20th, 2023, the trial of Joel Payot began. The prosecution assembled a team of 4 experienced lawyers who represented Maria's interests and those of the state. The prosecution presented to the court a version of events according to which Joel methodically planned Maria's murder. They argued that the motive for the crime was Joel's unwillingness to pay alimony and divide property in case of divorce. According to the prosecution's estimates, potential payments could reach $1 million. Prosecutors emphasized that Joel, having access to powerful medical drugs due to his profession, used them to kill his wife. They suggested that he might have added sedative drugs to Maria's drink, and then, when she lost consciousness, administered a lethal dose of propofol and other medications. Joel's defense, on the other hand, presented an alternative version of events. They claimed that both Maria and Joel abused narcotic substances, and that Maria's death was the result of an accidental overdose. According to the defense's version, Joel tried to save his wife by administering Narcan, a drug used to reverse the effects of opioids. Key evidence at the trial included the toxicology report, which revealed a lethal combination of drugs in Maria's body, Janet Arredondo's testimony that Joel brought medical drugs home, entries from Maria's diary demonstrating her psychological state and plans for the future, video footage from the police officer's body camera that captured Joel's behavior immediately after Maria's death, and testimony from Joel's colleagues about his financial motives and reluctance to divorce. This evidence formed a solid basis for the prosecution, demonstrating both Joel's motive and opportunity to commit the crime. After 8 days of court hearings, on March 30th, 2023, the jury went into deliberation. It took them less than an hour to reach a verdict. Joel Payot was found guilty of the intentional murder of Maria Muñoz and tampering with evidence. The court sentenced him to life imprisonment for murder and an additional 10 years for evidence tampering. According to the sentence, Joel will be eligible for parole only in 2053. The verdict in Joel Payot's case put a legal end to Maria Muñoz's tragic story, but its consequences continued to be felt. The fate of the children, Alejandro and Valentino, became a subject of particular concern. Although exact information about their current whereabouts is not disclosed, it can be assumed that they are under the care of Maria's relatives, possibly her sister Marisol. This case caused significant resonance in the medical community of Laredo and beyond. It raised important questions about abuse of official position in the medical field and access to dangerous drugs. Joel's colleagues who were present at the trial expressed shock at how a person they trusted with patients' lives could commit such a crime. The story of Maria and Joel also drew attention to the problem of domestic violence and emotional abuse in families that outwardly seem prosperous. Maria's diaries revealed the depth of her suffering and isolation, despite the outward appearance of a successful family. For Maria's friends and loved ones, the verdict became an opportunity for closure, but it did not ease the pain of loss. Yasmin Martinez, Maria's close friend, said in an interview after the trial, "Maria was an extraordinary person. She loved her children above all else and always dreamed of a happy family. We hope that this tragedy will make people more attentive to their loved ones and not afraid to ask for help." The case also raised questions about Janet Arredondo's role. Although she received immunity from prosecution in exchange for testimony, her involvement in the events leading to Maria's death raised ethical questions. After the trial, Janet disappeared from public view, and her subsequent fate remains unknown. The medical community of Laredo initiated a review of protocols for storing and accounting for potent drugs in hospitals to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Dr. John Hunsinger, Joel's former supervisor, became an active advocate for strengthening control over access to dangerous medications. This story also became a warning for those facing problems in marriage. It highlighted the importance of timely seeking professional help and support from loved ones in difficult life situations. For many Laredo residents, this tragedy served as a reminder that deep problems can hide behind the facade of a successful life. It encouraged people to be more attentive to their loved ones and not afraid to intervene if they suspect someone is suffering from violence or abuse. The memory of Maria Muñoz lives on not only in the hearts of her children and loved ones, but also as a reminder of the importance of timely help and support for those suffering in silence. Her tragic story became a catalyst for important discussions about domestic violence, drug abuse in the medical profession, and the importance of mental health in modern society. The case of Maria Muñoz and Joel Payot has had a lasting impact on the Laredo community and beyond. It has sparked conversations about the hidden struggles that can exist behind seemingly perfect facades and the importance of being vigilant and supportive of those around us. In the medical community, this case has led to increased scrutiny of drug handling procedures and access to powerful medications. Many hospitals and medical facilities have reviewed and tightened their protocols for tracking and dispensing controlled substances. The case has also prompted discussions about the mental health of medical professionals and the pressures they face in their high-stress careers. For law enforcement and the legal system, this case highlighted the importance of thorough investigation and the role of forensic evidence in solving complex crimes. The meticulous work of the detectives, forensic experts, and prosecutors in piecing together the evidence was crucial in bringing justice for Maria. In the broader social context, Maria's story has become a rallying point for domestic violence awareness campaigns. Local organizations in Laredo and surrounding areas have used this case to educate the public about the signs of emotional abuse and the resources available for those in abusive relationships. The fact that such a tragedy could occur in what appeared to be a successful, professional family has challenged many people's preconceptions about domestic violence. The fate of Maria and Joel's children, Alejandro and Valentino, remains a poignant reminder of the far-reaching consequences of domestic violence. While their current situation is not publicly known, child welfare experts have emphasized the importance of providing long-term support and counseling for children who have experienced such trauma. In the years following the trial, several books and documentaries have explored Maria's story, seeking to understand the complex dynamics that led to her tragic death. These works have not only examined the specifics of the case, but have also delved into broader issues of marital discord, the pressures of immigrant families trying to achieve the American dream, and the sometimes deadly consequences of infidelity and financial stress. The Laredo community has taken steps to honor Maria's memory. A local park has been renamed in her honor, serving as a place of reflection and a reminder of the importance of familial love and community support. Annual events are held on the anniversary of her death, bringing together domestic violence survivors, advocates, and community members to raise awareness and promote healing. In the medical field, the case has led to discussions about ethics and professional responsibility. Medical schools and continuing education programs have incorporated case studies based on this tragedy to teach future healthcare professionals about the dangers of drug abuse and the importance of maintaining ethical standards. For many who knew Maria, her legacy is one of love, resilience, and unfulfilled potential. Friends and family often speak of her warmth, her dedication to her children, and her dreams of returning to nursing. Her diary entries, which played such a crucial role in the investigation, have become a powerful testament to her inner strength and her struggle to maintain hope in the face of adversity. The case has also had ripple effects in the legal community. Prosecutors and defense attorneys alike have studied the strategies used in this trial, particularly how digital evidence, toxicology reports, and personal writings can be crucial in building or defending a case. The role of plea bargains and immunity deals, as seen with Janet Arredondo's testimony, has been a subject of much debate in legal circles. For the Puerto Rican community in Laredo and beyond, Maria's story has been particularly impactful. It has sparked discussions about the challenges faced by immigrants, the importance of maintaining cultural ties, and the need for community support systems, especially for those far from their extended families. In the years since the trial, Joel Payot's case has gone through the appeal process, with his defense team challenging various aspects of the conviction. However, as of the last update, the original verdict has been upheld, and Joel remains in prison, serving his life sentence. The aftermath of this case continues to unfold. Janet Arredondo, whose testimony was crucial in convicting Joel, has reportedly struggled with the consequences of her actions and her role in the events leading to Maria's death. While she avoided legal consequences due to her immunity deal, she has faced social ostracism and professional difficulties. Maria's sister, Marisol, has become an advocate for domestic violence awareness and prevention. She often speaks at events, sharing Maria's story and urging people to be more attuned to the warning signs of abusive relationships. Her efforts have helped many women in similar situations find the courage to seek help. The hospital where Joel worked has implemented stringent new protocols for monitoring the use and distribution of controlled substances. These measures have become a model for other healthcare facilities across the state, potentially preventing similar incidents in the future. As time passes, Maria Muñoz's story continues to resonate with many. It serves as a somber reminder of the potential for tragedy hidden behind closed doors and the importance of community vigilance, support, and action. Her life, though cut tragically short, has become a catalyst for positive change, prompting important conversations and actions to prevent similar tragedies in the future. In Laredo and beyond, Maria is remembered not just for the circumstances of her death, but for the life she lived, a devoted mother, a caring nurse, and a woman who dreamed of a better future. Her story continues to inspire efforts to create safer homes, more supportive communities, and a society more attuned to the silent struggles of those around us.